Hello and welcome. I'm Raziel, and so today I want to talk about Games Workshop because 2024 has not been kind to them. They've had problems after problems after problems, and it's only looking like it's only getting worse. Nothing seems to be improving for them. We've had the issues with scalping. We've had the whole female custodies uproar, the boycotts, the price rises, the warehouse closing down, being temporarily closed. We've had stock problems, just issues, postal delays, and that's not because of the post office or anything like that. That's literally on their side that they're having issues with post. And let's not forget nuking entire armies. Yeah, 2024 is not looking great for Games Workshop. They've got still many issues, like codices being FAQ'd pretty much day one, and constant FAQs and erratas for rules, poor rule sets. Yeah, it's just a bad year, and we're only in June, so I don't think it's going to get any better. And I wish, I never wish ill on a company. I don't wish for any company to fail. It's not something that's right. If a company fails, it fails. It's not something I want, but if it happens, it happens. But here's the thing. It's getting worse because other game companies, Warlord Games, Mantic, Warcradle, and all three are starting to have major players from Games Workshop moving over to them, past and present. Such as with Mantic, we know with Warpath, they've got Alessio Calvatore back on board, who made some fantastic games, and he helped create Kings of War, and Kings of War is absolutely fantastic. There's no fault in it, so we know that's going to be good. And then you've got Andy Chambers going over to Warlord Games to work on Conflict 47. Again, some fantastic games. He brings a nice premium to himself, nice pedigree, that he's released some fantastic games and rule sets. So he's now working with Warlord Games. And of course, can't forget Trench Crusade, who's got the game designer from Mordheim, I believe it's Mordheim, working for them. So now Warcradle have two GW employees moving over to them, Sophie Williams and James Hewitt. As always on this channel, we do not judge people on their political stance, what they look like, homosexual, whatever. We don't judge people by that standard, which is something I will never do. We judge on quality of work and what they've done for everyone else. So, what have they done? Well, they both worked on Necromunda. James Hewitt worked on Silver Tower and Adeptus Titanicus. And, they bring this premium to them, which has worked on many games for Games Workshop, and some of the better games. None of them seem to have 40k under their belt, which is a great thing, or Horus Heresy. Adeptus Titanicus is actually a good game. So what we see is two people who have worked on skirmish games and smaller scale games, which is fantastic for Warcradle, that's what they tend to focus on. Wild West Exodus is a skirmish game, even though I have a 230 point army of Warrior Nations, which is far too big for a standard game. That's just a huge game. And you've got the smaller scale stuff, such as Dystopian Wars and Armoured Clash, which is coming soon. So the fact is, they've already worked on this scale and done it well enough to make them fun, interesting games to come over to Warcradle. So this is showing a bad light on Games Workshop. Now they're starting to lose employees as well, who are moving to other studios. And some of their star ex-employees, like I said, Andy Chambers and Alessio Calvatore, moving over. And people who created some memorable games, such as Mordheim, who I keep forgetting his name, is working with on Trench Crusade. I cannot see this getting any better for Games Workshop. 2024 is going to be literally their worst year they're going to get, because they've not done anything right by the customer base. They've constantly screwed over the customer base. They are losing. They're losing their long-term customers, the ones who have spent lots of money on their game over long periods of time, to newer games. People are walking away and playing newer games and finding newer games. And I think overall for 2024 wargaming has been absolutely fantastic. Seeing these new other games grow so substantially that they can start producing other games and, you know, expand their laws and their settings. This is good for everyone involved. But unfortunately for Games Workshop, they've seemed to be doing the exact opposite to what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is gaining customers. Everyone else is getting, you know, more games. Everyone else is improving their game mechanics. Everyone else is making more money. But Games Workshop seems to be doing everything the exact opposite. They're losing customers. They might have record profit sales, but they constantly rise their prices. So yeah, they're going to get better profits if the cost of the product is the same to begin with, only to be already made and have them sold at a higher price. Of course they're going to make more profit. All this shows, the standard rate of record profits, which has been pretty much the same, is that price rise is increasing their profits to remain steady. Where other companies aren't raising their prices, you know, they're keeping them standard, they're keeping them the same, and they are increasing their profits even more so because more people are going out and buying them. So what could go worse for Games Workshop? Well, honestly, the next big thing will be they'll be dropping one of their major titles. It'll probably be Lord of the Rings. It's not doing as well as any other. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm saying it's not doing as well. They'll probably end up losing that this year. And if Games Workshop keep going as they are and not following the trends of every other company who's doing better on a percentage rate, by the way, not on a pound weight, you know, not financially better, because Games Workshop being so much better will make so much bigger, I should say, making so much more money, because that's just the way it is. They're a much larger company. So they're going to make more money. It just looks more. But when you look at percentages of, you know, financial increase and, you know, customer satisfaction and everything like that, these games are increasing at a higher percentage rate than Games Workshop is. They are losing a lot. Their reputation is in shatters right now. And it could just continue unless they start putting their finger out and start looking at how these other companies are doing better and working better than they are. They're meant to be the market leader. They're meant to be the ones that everyone follows, but almost every game company seems to have ignored them. The only game company I've seen which seems to be following Games Workshop is Final Fantasy Flight, the Star Wars Legion makers. You know, price increases, the models aren't very good, and they're overpriced. They're following Games Workshop's footsteps, so we can see it wouldn't be hard to guess that Star Wars Legions will start falling downhill, and they'll start going downhill. But like I said, we judge by quality, and we only judge by that. We don't judge by any other standard on this channel. And the thing is, War Cradle makes the best game, in my opinion. Wild West Exodus is the best game. It's so robust, you can play it as a small skirmish game, or you can play it as a big force. The fact that I could use my 200 point, or almost 230 points in a single game, even though the game would be large, shows how and have so much fun with a large scale game, and compare that to a small skirmish game where I just use like my Wrath of the Nautilus posse box. It shows you how robust the rules are. Kings of War, Armada, and Vanguard are great games as well. Everyone's doing better except Games Workshop, and that's going to be an issue. Even the last pre-order preview didn't actually have any of their products in it, just licenses that they sold. There was a toy and magnets. That was the pre-order preview last Sunday. This again shows just exactly how badly they're doing when they cannot even show off their own models, and something they've been doing regularly weekly, and only can show off things that kind of only interest really hardcore fans of the setting and the lore. And I mean the hardcore ones, the ones who will buy a plushie. I might get it for my daughter because she likes Warhammer and she likes Teddy, so I might get her the plushie. That's what parents do. Anyway, there you go. What's your thoughts on this? As always, I do like to hear your opinions, as always. And I do, actually. If you want to get some models, you can go to Wayland Games down below. Free delivery after £20. Great company to deal with. It's who I shop with all the time now. And yeah, I drop around about £200 to £300 a month alone on that. So yeah, absolutely great company. I wouldn't have them down there if I didn't like them. There is Forbidden Planet, same reason, great company. I buy lots of comics from them guys. So there's that. Comics, DVDs, mangas, toys, plushies, etc. That's all down there as well. In there, there's my merchandise: stickers, notebooks, bags, travel mugs. All really cool stuff, all designed by me. There's my comics. There's an anthology which has horror based and fantasy based, and one particularly dark story in there which has very little speech, very little actually no speech in it, which is cool. Actually, I quite like that. And finally, there's Skyforge, because never forget Skyforge. He's a good guy, always deserves support. Good friend of mine. And finally, Patreon, because business. Bye bye.